once you've got a foot in the door, it's half the battle. So we've got a foot and a toe in the door, and we're very excited. Really an exciting horse. He's so raw. He's got so much talent. I do many things. I wear many hats. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, a grandmother of 5, and of course I'm a horse trainer. I love being in racing. I love being around the horses. It's my whole life. I really enjoy it. I think you've got to love what you do. If you love what you do, it's easy. I'm lucky enough to be blessed to have a lifestyle where I live outside most of the time. So I've got fresh air and I've got animals to be with, and I've got a family and a husband who totally support everything I do. So, I'm blessed. I'm very lucky. I'm in the clover patch. I'd go to the stables. My mum would bring me down here and I'd have my pony and go and ride down at Centennial Park. And on the weekend, dear mum, who was an asthmatic and very allergic to horses, would very kindly take me to all the shows. And so it was very much a life around Pony Club and the stables here and the horses, and my whole life was around it. It was great. I want to be an actress. From a very early age, that's all I wanted to do, was to tread the boards. Little did I know the boards would be, of course, the turf of the different race courses. But I auditioned and got into NIDA in Australia, and my father was totally against that. So I went and did a university course and graduated, and then when I went overseas and worked in the theatre for about 3 years, it was great. It was a great learning curve. Well, it's a big stage, in every possible way. If you go for an audition, there might be 1,000 people going for it. It's, it's tough, it's hard, and you've got to be good. And you also have to work on your voice and your projection, and you have to, sort of train yourself to be bigger than you are. Like a lot of people, when they meet me, they say, "Oh, you're not very big," but I give out a big shadow or a big image, and I'm sure that's a lot of it was training in the theatre. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Now next race will be the Cox Plate, and the Cox Plate will be contested by a horse called Alligator Blood. Well, you always imagine you're going to be a Kate Blanchett or someone like that, and of course I fell very short. But it was good. It was a great experience, and I got to travel all over the place. I worked all through England, and down the south of England, right up to Billingham, and right up the very north of England, in Geordie country. I went over to Canada and worked in Toronto. I modelled in Copenhagen, a little clothing range for an East End firm. So I did lots of things, lots of ads and different things like that. It was great. It made me be very tenacious. But I used to keep going to the races all the time in England, and I used to go and ride track work and hunt, over in Ireland. So I was always involved with the horses. And Dad kept at me and said, "Look, the theatre's no good. You won't make any money that way. Come back and join the family business. That's where you should be. That's your life." And he said it so many times that I woke up one Christmas and I thought, no, I'm packing up and going home. Oh, he's remarkable. He was the most talented horse trainer Australia's ever known. I mean, he was the Donald Bradman of the equine world. His number of derbies and oaks and Cox Plates and, Melbourne Cups and golden slippers. I mean, there wasn't a race he didn't completely dominate. And his communication to the press was next to none, because there were no, texting, there was no emails, the only form was by the sending a letter or getting on the phone. And Dad used the phone as we would texting or sending a tweet, and he was constantly informing the press of what he was doing, where he was going. He was a real forerunner in the industry. Well, he had them supremely fit. He had the horse really, really fit. So when it went to the races, it didn't go for an outing, it went to win. And that's where it makes him so different to other trainers. And when the horses win, you could put your money on them. And they were in the days of betting where people really did bet. So you could say and declare to people, "Look, you can back this horse because he'll win." And that's sort of disappeared a lot out of racing. Horses will often have a run or two and then get fit. Well, that's not good enough. You really should have them fit and they're ready to rock and roll. When I asked and said to him, I want to be a horse trainer, he said, "Don't do it." He said, "It's too hard." He said, it's not the right profession.
But the more he said don't do it, the more Gai wanted to do it, as often happens. Dad was extremely annoyed with me, and it was very divided because my uncle at the time was not keen for me to take out a trainer's licence. So there was, I think Dad felt sort of torn. Who should he really support? His brother of years of working together, or his daughter who had that ambition to go forward and train. So I got to a stage where I was very happy doing what I was doing, but something changed and in the situation of the family, and I could see that unless I made my move then, it wasn't going to happen. And so that's when I became, impatient. Let's get it happening, let's make it happen.
Ready for a start in the 1993 Melbourne Cup. And they're off.
That was amazing. It was amazing. I really got the horse by default. David Ellis, who's become hugely successful since then with Tiako Thoroughbreds, gave the horse to my father to train, and Dad very smartly said, no, I'm not the trainer. Gai's a much better trainer than I, and she should be training it. Well, of course, Gai had never been proven at all, and I might have been a dud trainer. But anyway, he sent me the horse. He won my first Group 1 within 7 months of having him. So it was very exciting. And then, of course, he went on to run in the Melbourne Cup. And it was the first year that the imports came when Vintage Crop came. So if the imports hadn't come, Tiako Nick would have been the winner of the Melbourne Cup.
Tiako Nick is in front of Frontier Boy. Vintage Crop is a danger, and Great Vintage is late. Tiako Nick, but Vintage Crop has got him. Vintage Crop, the Irish horse will win the Melbourne Cup. Vintage Crop, 2 lengths. Tiako Nick just out second. Mercator flashed.
Well, the Melbourne Cup's always been a premier, dominant, integral part of Australian racing, and it's we don't have many 2-mile races, 3,200 metres, so it's always been a staying race, a handicap, a good prize money, especially in recent years, fantastic prize money, and always a bit difficult to win. In the country of great sprinters, to have an iconic race worth a lot of money, it is quite interesting because that's not what we really breed. We breed sprinters, and that's what we're famous for. So it's a hard race to win, but I know when Dad won it with Just a Dash in the 80s, he got a real kick out of it. Of course, Lloyd Williams, who's since gone on to win numerous Melbourne Cups, they were great mates, and they really enjoyed the camaraderie and the whole excitement of that cup.
But it's Just a Dash in front of Just a Dash will win the Melbourne Cup. Just a Dash wins it well, 2 lengths to El Arena. It may be flashing light for third from our Paddy Boy.
I always get bits of butterflies before those big races. You've just got a different spring in your step. You're concerned about everything going right. You're worried about something might happen to the horse. You're concerned for the owner's feelings. If they get beaten, you've got to damage control. You've got to help them through it, because there's an enormous hype leading up to the Cup, and people really do get so excited about it.
Number 6, Fiorente for Gai Waterhouse. Damien Oliver, a 6-year-old by Mong Sun. Second, as we know, to Green Moon last year, but his runs have been fantastic. This year, the Dado Tan Shanam, he won it. The Turnbull Stakes, he ran on beautifully, and also, of course, in the Cox Plate.
Well, I was very sort of, tense on the day, because I didn't want to let anyone down. I knew I had a horse that could easily win the Cup. And I said to Rob, I just don't know if I can go to the races. I just worry so much. I don't want to let anyone down. They're all saying, Gai, this is your Cup, this is your year. And Rob just said, look, go to the races, you'll win the race, don't worry about it. He was supremely confident.
And they're off now. Fiorente, Dandino jump away well. Verema got out quickly, and Durnadin jumped nicely down on the inside. So
well, it's changed. It's got a lot of competition from other races in other states, which it never had. If you go back 20 or 30 years ago, it was that race meeting was just that race meeting and that race. So a lot has changed, but it still keeps holding its own, and it's the Cup.
As they come around the turn, Faulkner's made ground. He's gone right to the outside, and Seamoon is coming with him into the straight now, and Red Cadeau and Simonon race up and go to the lead from Mount Athos down on the inside. They're followed by Fiorente starting to come home hard, and then came...
I think when Damien Oliver had the horse coming up the straight, and he had him about 7th, and he pulled him wide and started to make his run, You know, you're so sort of watching just one horse. You're not watching the whole field. You're watching the drama and the theatre of what's happening. And I could just see him on a roll. I could see him picking up. And I just thought, oh, please, Lord, please bring that winning post a bit closer, you know. And then, of course, it was over. He'd won it.
Fiorente by a neck. Oliver's lifting him. And Fiorente won the Melbourne Cup again. Riccano stepping down in third.
The owners were just beside themselves. The elation and the joy. There were 40 of them. There were a lot of owners. And we tried to get them all up on the podium, and the then chairman's wife said, oh, you can't do that, you'll break the podium. I said, let it break. That's what happens in Australia. That's the great thing about racing down under. It was just a complete joy.
That is a very, very popular victory for the First Lady of Racing. Fiorente, 16.
See, it doesn't take 6 months to prepare a horse for the Melbourne Cup. It takes at least 2 years. And that's what people don't realise. It's 2 years of building, you know, month after month, preparing for that one race. And it's the build-up that's so huge. I think that's what people don't realise. It's over a very long period of time. People are talking about it all the time.
He's got an impeccable pedigree, and he's very versatile from 1,400 metres to 3,200. You dream about a horse like this. I'm going to go and enjoy the moment.
It's so funny because I have it at our farm, and everyone wants to take a photo of. Everyone wants to hold it, you know. And of course, I've got the gloves like you have with the VRC, and you know, they all want a photo of it. So, you know, they don't ask to get photos of my golden slippers. They don't ask to get photos of my Doncasters. There's 7 of them. All they ask is to get photos of the Melbourne Cup. I think it's the iconic design. It's probably one of the most beautifully designed cups. It's a very solid, big trophy. And it's not gauche, as a lot of them are. It's very artistically and beautifully done.
How fantastic for our town to have the Lexus Melbourne Cup.
It has brought so much joy and so much excitement to this community.
May I say the VRC have got enough brains to get on the road very early promoting their product. And what a wonderful product to promote. So taking it to the community, where it might be overseas or it might be in Australia. We took it to my granddaughter's school last year. It was such fun. You know, and the community really get involved. And that's what the VRC do so well. They involve the community in this wonderful, iconic race.
Loading then for the race that stops the nation. And they're racing.
I think it's a race that people have a history and relate to it because there's a history. I think that in many states there's a public holiday. There certainly is in Victoria. And people have Cup Day parties, so it's a celebration of the race that they can include into something social, which is very important in this day and age. You know, it's really an event that has taken place that their mothers went and did, and fathers used to go to the Cup, and grandfathers. So we've known of it, and we've been involved in it, and we've had a bet on it, and that makes a big difference.
Alligator blood, holding on, the alligator wins.
I love it when Gai wins a race. She is fantastic, isn't she? She is the best thing for racing.
Tenacious, focused, determined, try to do the right thing by people. I always live for the moment. You know, I often say that when I'm 6 feet under, they're not going to put great trainer. As long as they put terrific grandmother, that's all I want.